Okay, so this is the end of the game, and this is a bit of a recap. Um, the Axis won handily. They only needed 12 victory points. They had 17. They controlled all 5 of their original victory cities, plus they conquered Manila, Hong Kong, Paris, Cairo, Calcutta, and Leningrad. Despite attempts to liberate some of those cities, they did not happen. Now, the other victory conditions, Japan finished with an insanely high um, score. It was like 76 IPCs or something, so they were way ahead in the Empire score. Germany and Italy did not attain the Reich thing. The Russians were pretty good at beating back the Germans after the disastrous Moscow attack, but it didn't really make much of a difference in the end because of how well the Japanese did on their side of the board. World Oil 1 and 2 were also really not much in doubt. Japan absolutely owned the South Pacific and kept the money islands for the bulk of the game. The Allies did manage to prevent the Mediterranean token. Just on the last turn there, the South Africans took Transjordan and screwed up the Mediterranean token. The Axis late in the game got the resources token by getting Urals, Siberia. They had Manchuria for quite some time. They never, well, the Russians liberated Ukraine, and the Caucasus was not really ever in danger. But they only need 3 of 5 for that. South Asia was sewn up for quite some time, and they did manage to get all the Chinese territories as well. Horn of Africa was ruined, New Rome was ruined, and the Japanese never really made an attempt to get the Pacific Island token. So that is a formidable number of victory tokens. So let's see, 5, 8, 9, 11 victory cities. They almost won the game just on victory cities, but then they got 6 of the victory conditions. Okay, things I probably would have done differently as the Allies. I certainly probably would have played England differently. I would have obviously spent a lot more time fortifying that, because again, even though they were liberated, they were basically out of the game for a while. Now, I did actually double check on the rules. I probably played that incorrectly, because I believe in BBR 4 they don't collect any income if London falls. In previous versions of BBR, there was a way of collecting some income still. So I think preventing Sea Lion has to be paramount for the British. If they don't, it's basically handing the Axis the game, even if the Americans are able to liberate later, which is what happened in this game. I think the Vichy France rule really, really helps Italy, because these ships, not having to worry about these ships on the first turn, really gives Italy a lot of flexibility. They were able, now they got certainly a little bit lucky, but they were able to spread out quite a bit and make a lot of things happen early in the game. Now, again, I mean, obviously towards the end, they were starting to get a bit constricted, but they managed to hold out. And that's partially because of their early success and the amount of money that they were able to make over the course of the game. Other than what happened with South Africa, who were able to be a fairly major player in the game, the Commonwealth wasn't able really to do any much. Canada was pretty much trapped for most of the game. The Aussies were on their heels right from the beginning and really couldn't mount any sort of effective counter. I might in future put more money into Australia rather than South Africa, although again, I do like how well South Africa was able to defend the southern part of the continent against the Italians, even though the Italians were running absolutely wild. Russia, the game does actually give Russia a fair bit of an advantage. Now, again, I mean, the Germans did not fully focus on them. They were working on Sea Lion. So I think if you ignore the Sea Lion idea and go completely hard against Russia, there's not much Russia can do. But they were able to keep the Germans out of Moscow, even with the Germans having the heavy tanks, which made a big difference. I mean, the heavy tanks were pretty amazing. I think obviously the story of the game, however, was Japan. They just absolutely dominated Asia. They were really never in any kind of danger for most of the game. There was some stuff happening in the north with Russia, but again, by the end of the game, they were able to wipe them all out. And again, I think using naval blockers intelligently was really, really good. Now, again, I think I probably made a mistake or two in terms of following the rules, because I'm pretty sure that at least once I put a carrier here and maybe even I think a battleship here, and you're not allowed to do that because they're supposed to go in the shipyards. But this sea zone here is a really, really effective blocker. So I think one of the things that I would do actually on both sides of the board with the Americans is build up more offensive naval pieces. I really do like the idea of giving the Americans that improved transport capacity, because again, they do need to get guys on boats, but they need something to be able to punch through some of those naval blockades on both sides of the board, because again, that was also the issue over here with not really being able effectively to attack Italy. So it was an interesting game. I think I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do with both the Axis and the Allies. But it is a really, really interesting new version of the game. I really like the Vichy French rules, although again, as I said, I don't know if I fully played them correctly over the course of the game. The Spain stuff and the Turkey stuff never really came into effect in this game, but I could see how they might come into effect in certain games, so that would be kind of interesting to explore over the course of future games. But again, I'm really looking forward to playing this one again. I think it would be certainly a different game next time. I might change some of the tech choices. There's some, obviously England having the radar didn't really make much of a difference, because again, they got conquered before they got a chance to use it. Jets maybe, or something, or maybe some other thing that England could use, heavy bombers maybe, or something like that. Anyway, so this was a lot of fun. I hope those of you out there, I know there's not too many, but I hope those of you out there who were watching it enjoyed it, and I look forward to another game in the future. This is Sergeant Mercy signing off from the bar in Ontario, Canada, and have a good one.